You want to know how it all started? Let's go back to the beginning. A few weeks earlier, Ngozi had been posted to Ibadan for her NYSC service year. She didn't like staying at the noisy corpus lodge and wanted her own apartment. But every house she checked was either too expensive or badly built. One Friday afternoon, tired and frustrated, Ngozi decided to drive around and search for herself. After driving for a while, she turned into a quiet road she had never seen before. There were no people, no shops, just old houses leaning to one side like tired men. At the very end of the road, she saw it, a tall, beautiful building painted cream and gold with flowers by the gate. On the wall was written, House 505. Standing by the gate was an old man, smiling as if he had been waiting for her. Looking for a house, he asked gently. You found one. Something about his voice sounded calm but strange. Still, Ngozi smiled and nodded. The man introduced himself as Mr. Oda, the landlord. He showed her one of the apartments, and Ngozi was amazed. The place was clean and beautiful with shiny floor tiles, newly painted walls, and the smell of new paint in the air. She looked around happily. At last, she said, I found a real home. I love it here. I'll pay right now. The old man's smile grew wider. You like it here, he said softly. Everyone always does. After she moved in, Ngozi's new neighbors came to greet her. They were all smiles and very friendly. One young woman in a yellow gown who was sweeping the corridor smiled at her. I stay upstairs at flat 7, she said sweetly. If you need anything, just knock. Ngozi felt lucky. Such nice people, she said to herself. This must be the best house in Ibadan. Later that evening, she saw two men talking by the stairs. They waved and smiled, and Ngozi thought, what a peaceful neighborhood. But when she came downstairs a few minutes later, the men were gone. The corridor was empty and quiet, as if no one had been there at all. Then Ngozi shrugged it off. That night, Ngozi couldn't sleep. The air in her room felt strange, like someone had just been breathing beside her. The wall clock ticked loudly. Then she heard it, faint voices outside her window. Pure water. Pure water. Pure water. Buy your pure water. Gala. 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 Ngozi frowned. Who sells pure water and gala at midnight? She whispered. She looked out the window. The street was empty, no children, no light, no sound. Only the moonlight stretched across the compound. Then she heard it again, but this time, the voices came from inside the wall. Later that night, she fell into a troubled sleep. In her dream, she saw her living room filled with yellow light, like candle flames. The front door creaked open slowly, and a woman walked in. The woman's skin was pale and dry, hanging over her bones. She had only a few strands of hair and no teeth. She wore a torn wrapper and walked like she owned the place. Ngozi whispered, "Who are you?" The woman didn't answer. She only smiled and stretched out her hand. Her arm grew long, too long, twisting and cracking until it wrapped around Ngozi's wrist like a rope. Ngozi screamed and woke up, shaking and sweating. When she looked at her dining table, she froze. There were 5 dirty plates, still wet with soup. She hadn't cooked anything. Someone, or something, had eaten in her house while she slept. "Who's there?" she whispered. The ceiling fan began to spin slowly by itself. Then she heard a child's giggle from her bedroom, and another one, right behind her. She turned quickly. No one. The TV came on by itself, showing only static. In the white blur, she saw 5 shadows sitting around the table, eating, smiling. It was her dining room. The lights went out. Only the TV glow remained. A cold bony hand touched her shoulder. Ngozi screamed and ran barefoot out of her apartment, straight upstairs to flat 7. She banged on the lady's door again and again. No response. Then she noticed the handle was rusty, the keyhole filled with dust, cobwebs everywhere. The windows were covered in dirt, like no one had opened them in years. Her stomach turned. She ran back downstairs to pack her things. As she hurriedly stuffed her clothes into a bag, she heard a deep sound above her, like footsteps. "Thud, thud, thud. Who's there?" she shouted. The footsteps stopped. Then came a heavy breath, wet and close, from the ceiling. The children's voices returned again, louder, now right above her head. "By your pure water. Gala, Gala, Gala." Ngozi screamed and ran for the door, but it wouldn't open. The handle burned hot under her hand. She pushed and kicked until the door burst open with a loud crack. She grabbed her bag, ran to her car, and sped off into the night. She didn't look back. In her mirror, House 505 still stood tall under the moonlight, then slowly faded away into the dark, like it was never there. Ngozi drove until she reached a busy street with vigilante men sitting by the roadside. She jumped out of her car, crying and running towards them, saying, "Please, help me. I just came from a tall cream and gold house down the road," she shouted. The men exchanged strange looks. One of them said softly, "You mean House 505? Ngozi nodded, still shaking. "Yes. That's the one. I just rented it. The landlord was so kind, and the neighbors were so nice." The men's faces changed. "Neighbors," he whispered. "Nobody lives there." Ngozi frowned. "What do you mean?" An old man sitting nearby looked up. "That building has been empty for years," he said slowly. "A long time ago, children who sold pure water and gala disappeared around that area. People say their bodies were buried in the foundation of that house as a sacrifice. Since then, anyone who moves in never stays the night." Ngozi's mouth fell open and she shouted, "Jesus."